Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to HYNPYTOL, where I think we're pretty close to the end. I don't know how many more videos that means, because I don't feel like I'm making a huge amount of progress per video at this point, but hey, the game's difficult. It's gotten difficult. So, this one is just all about digging all of these guys out of this bottom line, right? The door is open, we just have to figure out a way to get to it. So we have some mandatory moves here at the beginning. I think all of that stuff has to happen. Because obviously if you extend your hand the other way at the beginning of the puzzle, you're just going to lock yourself into the starting position. Now we have to figure out how are we going to get all 5 of these cells out of the way. So it feels like anything you can do to just like move a cell out and then not get trapped by it. So we have to like move away, right? Because if we go up into the corner, we can like adjust the positions of these cells, but we're no longer able to actually move around at all. So it's like get the cell out and then immediately break line of effect with it. Oh, except how am I going to... If we pull this up now, I can't actually get out of here, right? All I can do is adjust my position upward very slightly because I'm stuck in this rectangle. If I do this... No, yeah, we're stuck because I'm going to have to either reach out and grab this or... All right, let's start again here. So we know this part. That part's mandatory. If we reach out and pull this up, because we could go the other way at this point, right? We don't have to go to the right, but what I was going to say is it's going to be hard to pull that cell out later. But it's actually not, right? So we can pull this up now, or we can put ourselves in this corner, pull this cell out, and then just end up back in this spot and pull this one out. And that gives us... see, what's important about this is this gives us the critical ability to get down into this row, which is the only way we're ever going to be able to affect this cell. So we have to get into this row so that we can pull ourselves to this obstacle. And then we're getting pretty close. We're getting pretty close. I don't know if this matters, but we may as well press that up into a line with the others. So this is just all about looking at like from where can you affect these things. So now if we just avoid this, yeah, there we go. That's not so bad. Fresh eyes always help. Okay, yeah, we're still just kind of tearing around this area. And we now have an indication of the next place it wants us to go, but how will we get there? How is this helping me? I can put this guy over here. This doesn't seem super useful. Yeah. Okay, hold on a second. How am I going to create a situation that allows me to pull myself into that? I think what we would have to do is get both of these cells... I was going to say over to the left, right? Because if we pulled them into the leftmost positions, in fact, where those 2 like larger stars are, then we create a hose, and we could grab the hose from this position, which would align us vertically with the orifice we're looking for, and we could just go ahead and get stuck in there. But I don't know how I'm going to do that. So if I push you all the way up here, Right, we can do this part. Oh no, I don't want to go into this corner because now we have that classic corner stuck problem, right? I can't actually move around anymore. Ah, but we go off screen. Okay, that's the tricky part about that one, is the part of the really important critical puzzle space is off screen. And if I hadn't screwed around and pushed that other guy off screen after we failed the puzzle the first time, I would never even have noticed. All right, so we have some circuits that we're gonna have to disrupt here. Well, obviously this is bad. So we can pull ourselves down out of here. Doing this allows me to break. I guess I was expecting that to have more of an effect. I thought pulling that out was going to open either the bottom or the bottom or top walls, but it seems that it is not. Oh, okay, I see. So that's tricky. Because in order to access the exit, this has to be in this position. But I can't push it down there without pulling it back up. Because I can't extend myself backwards through the green glass. We can do it on the other side and get access to a thing that I don't know why we would ever want access to. Because right here I can absolutely do this. And I assume, because we can do that, we're probably supposed to. But I will admit to being uncertain as to the value of that maneuver. So we can pull ourselves up here. I can move this thing out of the way. I guess the idea is now when I push this down, it'll create the hose, and that means that when I pull this back up, which I must, it no longer completes the shape. That's interesting. Now the bad news here obviously is I don't know how we're going to I don't know how we get to the hole, because like this is the position we have to end up in after coming out of the green glass area. But pulling myself upward is no good. And the only other thing I can do is join these together. But that's not super helpful either. Right? This is very much a stuck position. So, okay, we have an idea what the penultimate step is going to look like. We need to create the hose, which means we have to move a lot of stuff out of the way, and then use that hose to prevent the vines from closing again. But then we also have to have already constructed a way out of the situation we're going to be putting ourselves into. So, how do we do that? We have to move these T's out of the way. And I think trying to figure out if it matters which side they move to, because it might. Well, actually, never mind. They're both only, like, you can only actually access the handles from one side, right? Because our ability to move the T's is dependent on these things. So we'll always only be able to move that one left and the other one right. Unless I'm missing something, but that seems true, and that is certainly going to influence our ability to maneuver in the space. How are we going to construct the situation that lets us enter that hole? Well, I guess, okay, so I was trying to figure out, like, how are we going to space ourselves out from the hose, right, and get into the column that the hole is in. But actually, we can enter the column that the hole is in down in the space where the vine is right now. Potentially. If we can either push something, well, no, probably not. I was gonna say if we could push something up into that space directly above us at the very top of the screen and get it to stick there, but anything that, like, the only way to do that would be to bind two of these cells in that position, and that would mean that we're actually in the row below where the vines are instead of where the vines are, which is obviously the important place to be. So it's gonna have to be grabbing downward. If we can grab that little divot that is between the hole and the hose cell, then we can pull down, then pull left, then pull down. So successfully solving this problem is going to be all about making sure that that is accessible, I think. So if we do kind of a similar thing to what we did before, push this up to here. I wonder, let me fiddle around with this a little bit more. Like, what I'm thinking is that we need to get through, right, and move some more of this stuff over here. Then I can put that in place. But how do I get rid of the last cell? Because that last cell is still in the way, in a way that we can't really deal with. Yeah, and I can't. It's very difficult to get into that row, the row that the last cell in the center column is in, because I feel like that's the thing we need to move. Because it's easy enough to come over here, do this, pull ourselves back up. God, if that's stuck there, if I could pull myself into that position, if I could just take my damn hand back. Actually, you know what? Pushing that at all is a non-starter because it attaches our hand to a position that kills us. Yeah, like, how do we engineer a position for this? Like, that cell either has to be gone, or there has to be something for it to stick to somewhere. I think it just has to be gone. I think we just have to move it out of the way. But how? Because I can't access it from the right the same way I can access the other ones. Let me reset. What if we... Because I can grab it from here, right? And then we can do that with it. Now I can't get out of here, though. Yeah, that's a real problem. The fact that doing this traps me permanently in the hell dimension. Definitely an issue. What if I come down here and I push it the other way though? Well, I still can't get out of here is the problem. Because I can't get these two to connect. Yeah, if I move up or down, I'm just stuck permanently. If I move up or down before I manage to get everything else in position. And there is absolutely no way to fix that. There's absolutely no way to get one of these other cells moved over. Like this is the necessary beginning to the puzzle, right? Because this is the only way to get our character, our HYNPYTOL, out of the middle row without getting trapped forever. Yeah, any move we make is going to have this form. And then if I move up or down here, I lose. So this is mandatory start. Now the question, how do we access that lower cell from here? And what is the situation that we create where it is possible? Okay, I have a thought. What about this? What about we use this thing to pull ourselves up here, and then I seal these two in place there. Shoot. I was gonna say now I can pull myself over to them, right? Let me do that like this. Pull myself over to them. Now I can pull this over here and this over here. There we go. I think that's it. I think that's done it. Because now all of the cells are out of our way. Sorry, we can move this thing out. Pull this back up, and now it's just down and left and down. Yep, that's got it. Okay. That one took a moment. It took a little bit of thought. I have no idea how close we are to some kind of ending. How do I get myself out of here? So we break that. This doesn't actually seem like a very useful place to be, if I'm honest. Isn't this just where I started? Well, that's no good. Hold on, that's not gonna work. So we go this way. This lets us down there, but it doesn't. Doesn't seem very useful. If we go this way, we're gonna end up. What are you? I don't know what that cell is for, but I know it's going to be more useful in that position than anywhere else. Okay. So the deal here is you have to use the space that you've been given to rearrange those cells so that the hose is just above the orifice, I guess, rather than just below it. Except that doesn't seem... That doesn't seem super possible, right? I'm actually a little unsure what it is that I'm supposed to be able to do here. I think we've now entered all of the glowing orifices, I believe. The only thing really that we can do is that. And then so we work our way around. Maybe that doesn't seem the most useful. There's a little star there, right? Or rather a large star. If I pull this down here, what line is that on? I'm going to do a very professional thing here and just mark this spot on my screen with my finger until we get back to a place that matters. Okay, that is the row that is just above these things. So what we're trying to do here is not move those up. We're trying to create a hose that extends through that row from the screen to the left of this to the screen to the right of this. And we're just breaking this hose so that we can access the space from the bottom. And that's why this guy is here. Okay. All right, I see it now. Just gotta put him in the spot indicated by the big star, which is why it's there. All right, and there's our access point. And here we go. Ready or not. Likelihood's End. I don't feel like any of this has been particularly likely, if I'm being honest. There is no end to this battle. They keep coming in from beyond the sky, and we fight as we always have. I cannot track any of this within the human body metaphor anymore. At this point, I have no idea what's going on. As war breaks out, we gather. The more we gather, the more we get. That's true. Tautologically enough. Because the cytokine signals each of us. But they don't disappear. Our homes get smaller. And now this place keeps getting hotter. Yeah, this person's very sick. I think that much is clear. Even if we all burn to death, even if this place is reduced to ashes, HYNPYTOL still want to remove all of them. No, all of us. Yeah, there's a lot of them and us, and just kind of a lot of very general words used to prevent it from ever becoming clear what anybody's talking about ever, I feel like. The storm that they longed for has now arrived. The cytokine storm. Maybe I should look up the word cytokine. Perhaps that would help. Real quick, just hold on a second. This is a real thing in the body, right? Signaling proteins that help control inflammation in your body. They allow your immune system to mount a defense if germs or other substances get all up in there. Okay. Can you have too many of them? Is that bad? Probably. It seems like it. I just did. Hi, give me 5. Will doing this have killed me? Why? Were you expecting a final boss? Listen, the one thing I've learned about this game is not to expect things. Something that once killed will bring peace to this world? Actually, it's been with you since the beginning. You can't see it. You can't touch it. You can't even high-five it. Ha! Imagine, yesterday you belonged here. but suddenly you're exiled. Could you accept that? You spent your whole life here, but now you have to accept your fate without a word of complaint. Again, it's also like vague in general that none of it actually has any meaning. We separate you from us. That way this place can live on. Who belongs here is all that matters. Why, you ask? Well, because we're HYNPYTOLs. That's all. What nonsense. Not everyone has to live by their fate, right? I mean, I guess that depends on how you're defining the word fate. Also, how you're defining the phrase has to. The storm is finally here. Struggle as much as you like. Okay. I'm going to continue linearly forward and play the video game, and we'll see how that works out as a strategy. This does seem bad, though. Things are certainly being consumed. Oh, cool. More of these. At least the puzzle's very straightforward. So notice these ones have, or at least some of them have handles on all four sides. Okay, we have to do this in order to be able to come at that from far enough away to actually move it. There we go. Yeah, and then we pull down here. I mean, I'll say this, it's intense, it's scary. Shoot. Okay. Alright, so I have to solve a very long sequence of very simple puzzles in a hurry, basically. Alright. I suppose I could have known that this would be the way things would end. It makes a lot of sense, given everything we've had to go through. Okay, I made an error there, but that area is built in such a way that it's actually okay, which is cool. Pull this in and then do that. Back myself up into the problem. Sorry, again, back myself up into the problem. I gotta get better at doing that. Okay, so I pull myself here. How am I gonna... Wait. It's not clear to me how I build the conditions for me succeeding at that part. I guess let's try to get there really fast so I have a lot of time to figure it out. Part of the thing that's weird about these is that you have to, for the most optimal push, you actually obey different logic than you obey for all of the other movements in the game, which are already like very unintuitive. It is an unintuitive game. I feel like that's definitely true. How do I... Yeah, it's not clear to me how I make the, how I make a shape that's going to allow me to pull myself to it to position myself to get off the bottom of that screen. And what I need is time to look at it. So this is one problem with the go fast puzzles. It's like the only way to really introduce difficulty is to make them things that are difficult, right? But to make them like puzzles that are individually tricky. But the moment you make the puzzle itself hard at all, you're sort of invalidating your cute idea of it being a speed thing, because the only thing the player is going to be doing is like getting back to it over and over again so they have time to look at it. Because, like, the way I'm going to figure this out is I'm going to... Also, it's interesting that it doesn't end the game when we get consumed by the red stuff. In fact, you can hear me moving around behind it. That's interesting. The way I'm going to solve that probably is I'm going to stop the recording, pause it, pause it on that frame, look at what I have to do, and then do it in real time. And in that sense, it's kind of like there wasn't a timer at all because I just paused the game to figure things out. Because you can't realistically, like, if the puzzle is hard enough for you not to be able to solve it at a glance, then you can't solve it at a glance, right? And so you're going to have to do something like that to solve it, which invalidates the whole idea of at a glance puzzling, which is clearly what they're going for with these timed sections. So I can pull myself up to there. I guess the idea is if we can move the cell that's to our left upward and get it stuck, or just move any other cell there. All right, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pause the game. I'm gonna end the episode right here. I am gonna do exactly what I said I was gonna do. I'm gonna like work this out on a paused image of this puzzle, and when you come back next time, I will have a solution for this, and we will continue onward through this set of kind of like annoying timed puzzles, and we'll figure them all out one by one. My guess is there's probably going to be more pausing and figuring things out. I don't think this really works. Do the puzzles fast. There's a good reason why puzzle games don't generally do this. It's a little bit of a shame. Anyway, come back next time for that, and we'll see you then.